Greetings once again to all my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video might be seen and shared. It's Lean Driver once again. I wanted to come to you with another unboxing, but with a twist. As you can see, this is yet another Zelos. Another Zelos from what I have been dubbed unofficially Mr. Zelos because I have either owned or own currently or am related to an owner currently with so many Zelos watches. If you all want to call me Mr. Zelos, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not employed by Zelos. I wish I were. I'm not an investor, although if Elshin ever needs an investor, he can give me a call. Yeah, I do own a lot of Zelos, and I am a major Zelos fan. But this watch is actually not my watch, at least not full-time. This watch is a visitor, if you will. I will explain that. One of the channels I belong to or subscribe to on YouTube is a channel called Random Rob. And he is a very, very prolific watch video maker and collector and flipper. Rob, if I'm describing anything of your channel wrong, just comment below and tell everyone where I went wrong. But one of the things that he has on his channel is a Patreon subscription sub-channel, if you will, a Patreon, and it's only $10 a month. And one of the many, many perks that you get, one of the big perk, by the way, is to be able to get to see, Rob does a thing called Sunday Fun Day, where he puts watches up for sale at very good prices. I've actually bought 2 watches through Sunday Fun Day. And the Patreon subscribers get to see the Sunday Fun Day watches an hour or so earlier than everybody else. And usually you get first shot at the watches, which are at really good prices, and that $10 is going to pay for itself. Also, another perk is what are called watch tours. Now, I'm sure a lot of my subscribers and viewers know what a watch tour is, but in case you don't, it's a watch that is usually obtained by someone on a channel. In this case, there are 2 currently circulating right now, and they circulate among the Patreon users who agree to pay for a little extra fee to be a part of the tour. And at the end of the tour, the watch is then raffled off to any of the tour participants. Now, one of the watches that's circulating around is a Glycine Combat Sub that was offered in limited edition on what used to be called Mass Drop. It's now called Drop. It has the Pepsi style bezel. And I haven't gotten that one yet. I'm due to get that one in, I'd say, a month, roughly. But the other watch that's circulating around is this one. And it's circulating in the opposite direction, so I got this one first, and I'll get the Glycine later, which that suits me fine because I love my Zelos. So, and the sleeve is coming in a separate mailer because the gentleman who sent me this forgot to put the sleeve on it, so he's sending that in a separate mail. Otherwise, it is a complete kit. So, typical Zelos box. Nothing surprising here. A typical Zelos leather watch roll. No surprise here. And of course, you have your typical Zelos loadout. You have the strap, the rubber strap, which indicates to you, obviously, this is a dive watch, and it is obviously not a bronze watch. I don't think that's been mounted on the watch. Let's see, we have the Zelos warranty card. which shows that this was purchased in December and it was number 38. But what we have over here is the watch itself. Ta-da! And if you'll forgive me for just a second, I want to make sure that I identify this properly as, yep, I'm pretty sure I'm right when I say this is the Zelos Hammerhead 2 Black Sand. Looks like black sand. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. They'll probably get worse. But this is a Zelos Hammerhead version 2, stainless steel, black sand on the Zelos stainless steel bracelet. Now, this is not the first time I've seen a Zelos Hammerhead 2. I have gotten to touch one briefly, a Zelos Hammerhead 2 with the meteorite dial, with the meteorite bezel. That belongs to my father. And after I sized it for his wrist, which is smaller than mine, obviously I can't wear it, I can't borrow it, and he won't let me play with it because he loves the damn thing too much and he won't let me near it. So good on you, Dad. I'm glad that you love your Zelos. He has 8 of them at the moment, with one on the way. So I'm happy he's happy about them, but he never lets me play with them. Darn it. Anyway, enough ranting. And so far, I've got to say that even though I am like the 5th person to get this watch, it's holding up really, really well. I mean, I've seen pictures of this watch all over the place in the western part of the United States. I think this came in from Salt Lake City to where I am in Florida. So this has gone across country. It's been through 3 or 4 other people, and they're wearing the watch. It's not like this thing is being a watch winder queen or anything. The people are wearing this watch, and it is holding up beautifully. Really is. I'm very surprised. It's not being treated like a rental car. That's for damn sure. Let's see. We've got the standard version 2 fold-over clasp with the conventional micro adjust, and not the older one, which was more squared off with the ratcheting micro adjust / diver extension. We have the double fold clasp, and believe it or not, it came sized. All I had to do was change one micro adjuster, and it fit perfectly. Really fits very well. You can see very short lugs, very, very squat, thick watch, no doubt, but very squat. Fits my 7 1/4 inch wrist very nicely. Beautifully done watch. By the way, when it came to me, it was still running. Date was right. Time was, it was 2 hours behind because it came from Utah, which is 2 hours behind me. But the time was, it was on time, just 2 hours early, but the minute was right. And it was still running, which means that the power reserve on this movement is pretty good, because it was in the shipping box for, over 2 days. Beautiful watch. I really, really like the Hammerhead 2. It really looks good. Has that nice helium escape valve on the left side. Great artwork on the back. Let's see if I can determine how many they made in this colorway. Can anybody see it? Yep, there it is. 38 out of 150. So not bad. Let's see. Got my sheet of facts here. Let's see. Zelos Hammerhead 2 Black Sand Edition. Looks like the Black Sand Edition. I'm pretty sure it is. It does have that sandy coarseness, at least to my eyes. If I'm wrong and your eyes can see better, let me know. It is a 1,000-meter watch, so a pretty good deep diver. huge dome sapphire crystal. Well, I don't know if it's domed or not. It looks fairly flat. Maybe there's a slight dome. I don't know. What does that look like to you guys? To me, it looks flat, but all right, we'll go with it flat. 2 millimeter thick sapphire crystal. It is a 44 millimeter case, 22 millimeter lug. It is 48 on the tip to tip, and you can see that the bracelet, the bracelet drops straight down, so it's gonna wear well on smaller wrists than mine. I mean, my dad's wrists are much smaller than mine. You usually have to take out a ton of links to make a watch fit him. I'd say his wrist is probably a 6.5, and it fits very well on his wrist. 17 millimeters thick overall. 2 millimeters of that is the crystal. 120 click bezel. Nice and smooth. I'm sure plenty of people have been playing with the thing, and it lines up beautifully. And its movement. Now, this movement is offered, is offered two versions. You have this one, which is the Seiko NH35, and you also have the ETA. I believe it's a 2824. You can check the website, Zelos' website, and I think it's zeloswatches.com. And it should tell you exactly which ETA. I believe it is a 2824 because this is a simple three-hander with a date window. You can see the date windows down there. It's a great watch. Now, for comparison, because I have 4 of them. Had 5, sold 1 recently. Hi, Derek. I have 4 of the first generation Hammerheads. And you can see there are, now this one happens to be a stainless steel with the Damascus bezel, 1 of 50, with kind of an anthracite gray watch face. Interestingly enough, it has the same yellow second hand, or the same color hand. It looks like the same hand. Maybe this one is a little bit bigger, but interestingly, it does have the yellow second hand, and it does have the date window at the bottom at the 6 o'clock. Although you can see this one is a little more elongated. Different chapter ring, obviously, has numbers on this one, none on this one. But you can see very similar thickness, although you can now see the more pronounced domed sapphire on the first gen. But the cases look pretty similar. Let me turn this around so we have like for like. Yeah. So you can see the crowns are very similar, although this one's a little more. This one's more yellow and has a ring around the Z logo, whereas this one is a little bit greener, no ring. The faceting on the cases are very similar. You can see the case might be a little taller on this one. You can see the upper, where the case meets the bezel is definitely thicker on this one, and the bezel is thicker on the first gen. The bracelets are pronouncedly different. This one's more like half links compared to 1 link on the first gen, which, remember, first gen's in my right hand. Case back is, you can see the case back drops down a lot more on the second gen than it does on the first gen. The case back is really stuck up in there. First gen versus second. The artwork is very similar. And keep doing that. The diameter is pretty much the same. Although I think this one's a little bit easier to read. It looks like the bezel is, I don't know if using this word stretched is right, but it does seem that the bezel is pulled back a little from the watch face versus the first gen. I'd say the first gen isn't as readable. It is. First gens, now I realize there's no indices on this, but the first gen bezel and the second gen bezel feel about the same. Maybe this one's a little bit less boisterous than the first gen. A little more refined, maybe you could say. Looks like the bracelets could almost fit each other. I mean, they are 22 millimeters, so probably the bracelets could fit. The links definitely couldn't, but we're willing to bet you could probably move a first gen bracelet to a second gen. I'm not going to try because playing with bracelets is a pain, but I don't know. If you're worried, if you're really concerned about that, I'd email Elshin over at Zelos and ask him would a first gen bracelet fit on a second gen or vice versa. Anyway, I thought you guys would, and you can see, oops, I'm going to close this real quick so you can see better. First gen versus second gen clasp. You can see the second gen here, you have the fold over with the push button deployment and the micro adjust, the more conventional micro adjusters that you need a strap tool to play with, versus this one with the single fold push button deployment, and you have to push both buttons in order for it to unlock. See, if you only push one, it won't unlock. And on this side, you have the micro adjuster is done by ratchet almost. You can see that's almost a full link right there. Compare that size to that size, and it ratchets. The nice thing about this class, which I've always liked, is on the fly. Let's say it's a warm day, your wrist swells up. You can deploy just a little bit like that, the first click, or maybe a second click. So you have 1, 2, 3. There's the second one. And you can micro adjust on the fly with no tool. I've always liked that particular feature on the first generation bracelets. In that way, I think on the second gen and these kind of bracelets that are on Zelos now, I think Zelos has taken a small step backwards. But that's just my opinion. Pardon me. Anyway, I get to keep this watch for about a week, and considering I have a couple of videos ahead of this one, by the time I release this one to YouTube, this one will be on its way to the next destination. I'm not sure where that is. I have to get the address from the coordinator. But this one will be gone by the time you see this. But I am always willing to answer questions anyway. And remember, I do have access to another one of these in case there's a specific question about measurement or something like that. So, I welcome temporarily Mr. Black Sand into my home. I'm going to wear the hell out of it for a while, and then I'm going to send it on its way. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, a thumbs up is appreciated. It does help grow my channel. It helps with the algorithm so that people will find me quicker and so on. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. I read them all. I respond to them all. If you're nasty, mean, or otherwise annoy me, I will delete the comment and I'll block you. And if you're not already a subscriber, please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so that when I upload new content, you are alerted. And don't forget to share the video around. Post it up to places. Share it with your friends, fellow Zelos enthusiasts. I'd appreciate that too. Okay, that's really all I got about this one. I'm going to go put this on and have some fun with it. Have a good rest of the day. I'll see you in my next video.